Good afternoon, everybody. It's Saturday afternoon, about 2:30. I'm recording this sandwich between the Lily Langtree and the Steward's Cup at Goodwood, which will making sure that I keep it to the requisite length, so as not to miss the Steward's Cup. Prix Rothschild tomorrow, 3:40 English time, 4:40 French time, Deauville, Normandy coast, northern France. Fascinating renewal of this race. 13 runners. It's a deep field and it's a good field. Very excited about this race. It's 3-year-olds and upwards, so it's the fillies meeting the older mares. The latter category have won most of the last renewals. It's been, only Mother Earth for the 3-year-old has won this in the last 6 or so years, but there are some good older horses as well as some good 3-year-olds. So let's get into it. But before we do, 2 points of order. One, most importantly, there is ground ambiguity here. A lot of what is I see already written about this, and a lot of ground descriptions already see printed are questionable in terms of their accuracy. Now, let me explain that. If you look on Racing Post at the races and many descriptions in the press, they'll talk about it being soft at Deauville. That's what it was yesterday. And that's what it was according to the Deauville page on France Galop website. Souple. Now, although souple means soft, French going descriptions are typically a level lower than English ones. So, for example, when you have souple, which means soft, I read that as good to soft. And when you have bon souple, good to soft in French, I read that as good. And when you have plain bon, I have that as good for proper fast ground. So I think as of yesterday, it was running good to soft, souple. But what's fascinating is what they put in brackets below the going description as of 9:30 this morning. Souple, but envisaged ground for the race by race time, taking into account possible watering. God knows what that means. Surely they're not going to water good to soft, but clerks of the course, nothing would surprise me. But no, I assume they're not. But envisaged ground, bon souple à bon, good to soft, good. But again, we're upgrading for English terms, and I'm reading that as they think it's going to be good ground by tomorrow. Good ground, possibly on the fast side of good. That is my take. Okay, and others may disagree, and clearly it's got to dry according to how they predict, but there's no rain due, it's pleasantly warm, there's a breeze, so I'd expect it to dry. And when I first came to this race, started looking at this race a few days ago, I was expecting it to be quite soft because Deauville ground doesn't dry out that quickly, and they've had a decent amount of rain in the last 2 weeks. But this has all made me had to rethink slightly because I was quite excited by a couple of softies in this race, and I'm less excited for them now. Conversely, I didn't really want those horses who wanted fast ground, and I'm just wondering now if they're maybe going to get it. Maybe it'll just be plain good. It'll be fair for everyone. But I think really watch this space. Be suspicious of what you read in things like the Racing Post tomorrow morning. They're bound to be wrong. They usually are about French race descriptions. I'll post on X, if you follow the AntePoster on X, former Twitter. I'll post the ground as per Deauville tomorrow morning. And then we'll see where we are. But if you were going to have a big play on the basis of ground, you might want to wait. That's the first point of order. Second point of order is just in betting terms. It's a big race, big field, 13 horses. Each way terms are many houses. Bookmakers are only going 3 places. Okay, so Bet365 are 4, Ladbrokes are 4, BetGM are 4. So to Virgin Bet, Sky Bet, and Coral. Others may follow suit tonight, but check if you are thinking of having an each way bet in a 13-horse field. You will be screwing yourself, to use the technical term, if you're taking 3 places rather than 4, particularly as the prices are not dissimilar between those offering 3 and 4. Okay, enough of ground, enough of each way terms. Let's go on to the field. It's headed by 2 co-favourites, January and Matilda, both at 7-2. I don't dislike any of these horses, their chances, but in my mind, they've got very different profiles. One, I think, is very reliable, not terribly exciting. and the other is exciting, but I have no idea what she's going to produce. So let's start at the top with January. Aidan O'Brien, Ballydoyle. Ryan Moore won't ride. This one will have Christophe Soumillon. For some reason, Ryan Moore is going to Dusseldorf to ride Garden of Eden, the Ribblesdale winger. I don't quite understand why, because obviously not as prestigious a race. Maybe it's simply a case of Ryan can choose, and it's Ryan's wallet, and Garden of Eden will be a very short favourite, and January's got lots of competition. Maybe there's me being cynical. Maybe there are other reasons for his Dusseldorf trip. Anyway, Soumillon, good replacement. January, some negatives. I mean, she hasn't won for 6 races. She's lost her last 5. And I felt that in both her last 2 races, in both the Coronation and the Falmouth at Newmarket, I felt she came there, and if she was good enough, she could have got the job done. She seemed to almost be reluctant to get past, particularly against Cinderella's Dream at Newmarket. I was there that day. I was convinced that, having recommended Cinderella's Dream AntePoster to our supporters, I was pretty convinced that Cinderella's Dream had been nabbed by January, grabbed the rail, but Cinderella's Dream fought her off. Now, I might be wrong about her. I'm not saying she's ungenuine, but if she's just not quite getting ahead in front, hasn't done it for 5 races, is this something you want to take on now? She's got probably the best form in the race, but she's certainly not an each-way price. Even though she's absolutely, I would have got nailed on to run her race. I'd be absolutely staggered if she wasn't in the 4, for example. Absolutely staggered. But she leaves me a bit cold as a wind play. By contrast, Matilda, who you may or may not have heard of, if you follow German racing, you would have done. This one won the French 2,000 guineas. She was thrown in against the Colts in her 3rd career start. 3 starts over a mile, all at Cologne. Well beaten in her maiden. Then blowout winner of a conditions race, same course and distance, mile, Cologne. And then they throw her into the German 2,000 guineas. Please, if you haven't, just take the 70 seconds it'll tell you, watch it on video. Put Matilda German 2,000 guineas into your search engine and watch what happens from the 300-meter mark, a furlong and a half out, for those of you like me who are dyed-in-the-wool imperialists. It's absolutely remarkable. She comes parallel to the horse who was leading, and it looks like she's edging in front. But then suddenly she just takes off. She absolutely demolishes the field, and they finish more or less in a pack 7 lengths behind her. It was truly, truly remarkable. I don't have access to sectionals, so I hand time the last 2 furlongs a couple of times. It seems to be sort of somewhere in the order of 22 seconds. I mean, really, really impressive. Now, what was the form worth? Well, the 5th has won a listed race since, horse of ours, Hugh Watson's. The 2nd has come second to listed race since. It's not disgraceful form. The 3rd sort of flopped in a handicap at Ascot, but we don't really know how good this filly is. She was brilliant on that day. She's been bought by Peter Brandt, the American billionaire, so she now ran in his colours, and transferred to the Blazing Gun stable of Francois-Henri Graffard, taken away from German trainer, I feel very sorry for, because she was clearly doing nothing wrong. What do we expect from Matilda? First start with a new trainer, first start in a new country, first race against serious competition. Let's be honest, the German 2,000 guineas wouldn't be on the same planet in terms of depth of field as this Prix Rothschild. But she could be a superstar in the making. And if you liked her, I wouldn't put you off her. I ummed and ahed about betting her myself. I don't think I will at 7-2. But the one thing I wouldn't do, even if you just a 4-5 to 1, I wouldn't back her each way, because I could see it all not happening, and that being something of a flash in the plan. That said, she looked so good. The time looked good. She broke 1:34. Really, really exciting, Matilda. Then you've got a sort of small gap in the betting to Mandanaba, colours the Aga Khan. This one has run really well in both the French 1,000 guineas and the Prix de Diane, the French Oaks, over 10 furlongs, 10.5 furlongs. She led both. In fact, if you rewatch the French 1,000 guineas, this one goes a length, maybe more, clear in the last furlong, and then she, I don't know, maybe it dies because of too much effort, too much too soon. She was a little bit keener. She can be keen, this one. Maybe that played a part. But I didn't really like the French Oaks on that basis. But even though she was only 4th she ran a fantastic race because she was wide the whole way in the Prix de Diane, and she still got to the lead again before petering out. They had previously said, oh, it's in her breeding, she wants to go up in trip. Now they're saying, yeah, no, we could bring her back in trips. They haven't quite found the sort of square hole for this peg, or whatever the phrase is. Probably not that. Could go well, maybe should go well. I can't quite, having faded out of the last two races, having led them, I can't quite get to her here. But yeah, solid, likable filly. Possible winner this. Fallen Angel, I was getting quite keen on. I've got a lot of time for Fallen Angel, and being a sort of ground obsessive, I'm pretty convinced that you haven't seen her best this season on good firm ground, and I'm surprised they ran her actually. Carl Burke said, not ideal for her, but as a runner anyway. So credit for him for doing that. The question is the ground going against her? I really want to see the update the next morning. If it was what I would call proper good to soft ground, British good to soft, French souple, then I would be backing Fallen Angel. If it's not, and it's gone good, possibly on the far side of good, I won't. It's as simple as that. We know she travels well, by the way. She's won 2 Group 1s at the Curragh as a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old. I think that Moiglair and the Irish 1,000 Guineas are good filly. Beat France and once 4th in the Opera, a bit less than 2 months, but the Opera on Arc Weekend, Arc Day in October, that was running a bog over 10 furlongs, which is the longest she's been over, and I think that was too much of a stamina test. Yeah, good horse. Not sure she's going to get her ground. By contrast, Crimson Advocate, 9-1, best price with Hills. I'm very surprised to see it that big, and I think that's priced up according to what the British think the ground is, namely soft. Because Crimson Advocate, has shown all her best form on sort of proper summer ground, as we call it. She's a former winner of the Queen Mary, I think, as a 2-year-old, and reinvented as a miler this year. With the Gosdens, was backed in from a huge price to shock the Duke of Cambridge Group 2 over a mile at Royal Ascot, which she duly did. Came from last. She's got a really exciting come from behind style. And then she tried the same tactics at Newmarket, but she was right out on the wing with not much cover. And when the three of them got together, her, Cinderella's Dream, and January in the last furlong, Cinderella's Dream moved over to January. They had their own little private battle on the rail, which Cinderella's Dream won. Crimson Advocate was right out in the middle of the course. First time over a straight mile. I'd still prefer her around a bend, but she's not out of this. And if I find out tomorrow, again, as I said, I will update on X for that. If I find out tomorrow that it is riding good on the fast side of good, I think I've got to play Cinderella's Dream at 9-1. It's quite a bit of pace in this race. Some will go forward. It's not going to be a slowly false run affair, which is a more likely thing around a bend in France. So I think it could set up well for her, and she's plainly overpriced, and I believe that's because of a British bookmaker misunderstanding of what the ground is. So yeah, Crimson Advocate, interesting. By the way, she's top rated on Timeform. She's top rated on RPRs. So I don't quite know how they get that, having been sort of well behind January last time. But anyway, they do what they do. Then the next betting, now you do have a gap to the bigger prices. 14-1 exactly. No, I like exactly. I thought she was unlucky in the French 1,000 Guineas. Thought she got the worst of the trouble, which kicked off the steward's inquiry between Zaragoza and She's Perfect. Poor old Exactly got sort of squeezed for room and kind of almost had to be stopped riding by the jockey. Was that Ryan Moss? It must have been the first string that day. Anyway, but the problem is that since, I don't think she's been run on her merits, and in particular in the coronation. She was clearly sent to press the lead several furlongs out from home, and duly paid for that exertions and finished 6th. But I think she did it under Wayne Lorden because that's what he was told to do, to keep pounding on the pace to set things up for January, who came right from the back. And I suspect Exactly's role today, Wayne Lorden again, poor old Wayne Lorden doesn't get the number 1 string because they bring in Super Sumio. Yeah, I suspect she's going to be sacrificed again if running on her merits. look for the trainer comments, although he tends not to say we're running exactly to help the other ones, and maybe they won't help. But if she gives a crazy price on Betfair, maybe it's not the craziest idea to have a few pennies on this one if she really drifts, and I expect she will. I can't see much love for her. Spiritual. This was the one that excited me most 3 days ago. I was itching to play Spiritual, even though she comes with risks attached. The majority of her form is not good enough to win this race. It's all on what she did last time out. She ran on Derby Day in the Princess Margaret, and she was only Group 3, but she didn't just win. She absolutely pulverized the field, winning by multiple lengths. She beat Bright Thunder by the best part of 5 lengths. Bright Thunder, good horse, run well since. Now, Time Performer, I wouldn't say quite rude about that, but as they say, much improved performance. Got loose on the lead, handled the track better than everyone else. I'd take issue with that. I mean, she was on the lead and she wasn't harried, which probably helped, and she might be harried on the lead here, so that's a valid point. But handled track better. There's almost a suggestion with those two comments that she nicked it. But she did not nick it. You cannot run as fast as she did with a monstrously high top speed figure of 107. You cannot run that kind of time by nicking something. Things get nicked when you set slower fractions on the front end, and then you sprint away from the people who weren't keeping up with you. This was not like that. It was really by far the fastest relative time on the card, and can be easily compared with the Diomede, of course, the following race with the likes of Docklins and Persica, because that was the next race. And this was much faster than that. So the big question is, can she repeat that? Or was it a case of she was on her own, and when she's on her own, she can really put up a performance? Probably she can't do it again, but I was, as I say, I was really looking forward to having a play, because I was hoping that I could get 10 to 1. Suddenly about 14s, and I'm like, whoa, this is exciting. That was until the ground doubts crept in, the fact that actually there might not be a bit of cut, which I don't necessarily think she needs, but it serves her best and would give her the best advantage. So now with ground doubts, I probably will have something on Spiritual. I think she's overpriced, but I would warn that this is a horse who could easily finish 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. It wouldn't surprise me at all. The question is, has she only now just come into her own? Because if that's true, and she can repeat what she did last time, she can win this. No question in my mind at all. Really interesting. Then I lose interest, or at least I lose betting interest with the next one. Though interestingly, the market doesn't. Pina Sonata. She's a line of green line of blue on odds checker. She's been cut by almost every bookmaking house. Having been kind of 22s last night and 20s this morning. She's now 16s. Sent over by James Fanshawe on form. I have absolutely no idea why. I don't really understand it. She's run 3 times. She's got the lowest rating in the field. She won was a conditions race last time. It was by 3 lengths, but the runner-up was then beaten about 10 lengths in a handicap at Royal Ascot. I don't get it. What is clear, though, is that Fanshawe really rates this filly. And digging a little deeper, the third then did run very well next time out in a listed race behind a horse who won at Goodwood yesterday. So maybe there's more in that form than I can get my head around, but on the rating she's got it all to find. So interesting. I'll be fascinated to see how she runs, but with a time form rating of 93 compared to the others are in the sort of 118, 117, 114, 113 mark. She's got stone and a half to find. So fascinated to see how she gets on, but not for me. Godspeed is more interesting. This one I'm hoping to drift a bit, and I probably will play each way. One last time out, one well, one cozily. I think it was the Prix de Sandringham, only a Group 2. But the form looked good. The 4th in that race has waltzed away with a listed race next time. Another horse from that has run back well. What interests me about Godspeed is not that in itself is good enough. It's just that her form is dirtied up by the French 1,000 guineas when she got the absolute worst of the draw. And of those drawn in the car park, and she was 13 of 13 or however many runners there were, she got the best position. She was still beating 4 lengths, but she basically had no chance from where she was drawn in. And the stable, said after this recent run, this is the filly we thought she was. We're very disappointed after the Guineas, but the draw didn't do us any favours. I think she's got a squeak of running a really big race, this one. Let's admit it, that'll be pushing it. I struggle to do that, but French races can often go to an outsider. And so who knows whether this will be one of those cases. I'll have a little play on Godspeed. Start of the day, I was quite interested in. They've supplemented this one, but they've come up with a strange comment. We've supplemented her, but her main aim is some other race, which I can't remember. Oh, no, the Prix Rothschild, which is in 2-3 weeks' time, again at the Deauville summer meeting, over 10 furlongs. Which is quite, obviously the owners have pots of money, so it's no big deal. It's just odd to supplement a horse when you're just trying to get a run into it for another big prize. Why I would be interested in it with this one's breeding is the hang on, I've lost it. Night of Thunder filly. She was really good last season. Night of Thunder mare, sorry, 4-year-old. Really good last season. She's only narrowly beaten by Ombudsman over 10 furlongs. And this season, it hasn't quite happened, and she flopped in the Duke of Cambridge or Alaska, but that was good firm ground, which I think she clearly hated, and connections said as much. Had this been soft, this would be a must-play outsider for me. As it is, I'll steer clear, unless I'm wrong about the ground. But yeah, start of day would have been interesting on soft. As it is, half a length featured by Ombudsman. It's got to catch the eye, hasn't it? Then you have At Sealer, over from Ireland for, sorry, I lost my notes here. I think it's Donica O'Brien, isn't it? I think so. Don't quote me on that. Looked great on her first two starts. I think Cersini might have been one of her victims in one of those races. But then she's had 2 goes over a mile, Irish 1,000 guineas, and she over for the Falmouth at Newmarket the day I was there. She just wasn't good enough in those, 6th in one, 7th of the other. Will it be any different here? Possibly, but there are other outsiders I'd rather play than At Sealer. Particularly Godspeed. Pinter, 33-1, not good enough. Graffar's 3rd string. Graffar did shock the one of the races, the Marcel Boussac on Arc Day, with the filly who beat Aragana, a huge price. He does do it with outsiders, but I've gone through this one's form, and was it 3rd to Bright Thunder in the pre-Goldakova last time, Group 3 or whatever. The 3rd to Bright Thunder. It's the same Bright Thunder who's beaten 5 lengths by Spiritual last time. He's 14-1 here. I can't see Pinter play. And the one you can completely chuck out is Ria Bofka. I have no idea what that was to do in this race. So there we go. That's the Prix tomorrow at 3:40 UK time. In summary, interesting favourites at the top of the market. You've got the reliable one, January, but not an each way price, but hasn't won for an awful long time. And you've got the exciting one, Matilda, who may or may not replicate her astonishing German Guineas win in much tougher waters. Crimson Advocate, who is the top rated horse by almost all ratings organizations, yet is 9-1, even though the ground is drying. Watch that carefully. I'm very surprised Crimson Advocate hold up star should be good over the Deauville Straight Mile. 9-1 too big. Fallen Angel, suspect the ground is gone. Were it soft, I'd love her, but I don't think it is. Spiritual, I'll play just because I want to know if what she did last time was the mare she's now become, or was it just a one-off thing? Maybe I'm wrong, but at 14-1, I think you can afford to be wrong about that kind of thing because it was an astonishing performance. Mandanaba, solid, 5-1, possible winner, just doesn't quite do it for me. Exactly, probably not running on merits. And yeah, then at the outsiders, I'm Godspeed. I'm going to play Godspeed each way because I think she's much better than she looked in the French 1,000 guineas. Anyway, how you play it? Yeah, watch for Excellent tomorrow for a ground update, and good luck, and hopefully I've finished. Oh, I've got 1 minute until the Stewards Cup. Ending recording, ending recording, ending recording, ending recording.